Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen Squadron 42 Episode 1 update. Squadron 42 Episode 1 is currently listed on its roadmap for having a feature-complete beta by the end of Q3 2020, and we are expecting a good amount of news from the upcoming CitizenCon on the 23rd of November about that single-player campaign of Star Citizen. We also do have a lot of updates from the latest Squadron 42 newsletter as well, as mentioned in the monthly report for the Persistent Universe, and my other updates on those. AI has seen a lot of work towards getting them sort of like in a functional navigational state so they can move around the verse on the ground, flying in a ship, or walking around locations or ship interior for both combat and social reasons. It is a very, very important part of the game, getting those social and combat AI working correctly. The social AI have been working on the sort of interrupt, breakout, and rejoin tech, applying it appropriately to each scene on a case-by-case basis. So this is going to have conversations and scenes with a level of interactivity and variance. You can break away from a conversation and then like move back into the conversation. You can delay NPCs so that you might not have a conversation with each other at a certain time, but will continue that conversation later. It gives a high level of fidelity and immersion for cinematic delivery of those story elements. They're also working to further develop various crew behaviours as well. FPS intensive chapters saw a lot of work where they focus on defining the systemic behaviours needed for AI to realistically traverse environments depending on their loadouts, as well as some prototype level mechanics being added to several FPS heavy levels. The space and dogfight teams also focused on systemic AI behaviours as well, with the takeoff and landing systems receiving polish to get them closer to their final states. There were improvements to the usable systems that went into the game dev branch, which will be tested to ensure the correct animations are being used and that AI are using them appropriately. These new usables will eventually be added to the Persistent Universe, where they will become part of the team's regular social AI testing. They also continue to work on melee and stealth takedown animations, effort movement sets, and reaction animations for NPCs that aren't holding stocked weapons. Some improvements to the close combat system include triggering reactions on both local and remote clients, adding camera shake on successful hits, blocking with melee weapons, damage and stamina impacts, and updated animations in general. They also made progress on animations for scripted events and cinematics. There is some hair updates, including finishing 2 new hairstyles and finalising styles for some of the main characters. They also began updating character costumes, accessories, and faces too. They finished testing the female player pipeline and prepped for an upcoming female-focused mocap shoot. The mocap session's focus will be on gathering additional female player recordings to bring her up into parity with the male player, now that other departments like cinematics have completed successful tests with earlier data that was captured. The rendered texture tech and comms calls have received some optimizations as well, so you'll be able to see characters across the verse sort of like reacting to their background situation as they call you, and it should be a lot more resource efficient. They have improved helmet interactions, including putting them on, taking them off, placing them somewhere, and inspecting them. They have laid the new foundation for the Tier 0 hero character heads to move them into the DNA system, while the DNA system was primarily designed to allow the blending of individual face parts for facial customization. Other advantages are reduced memory footprints and the ability to share unified attachments between heads regardless of their shape and gender. The efficiency gains will be significant too. The low-tiered DNA heads combined consume only a fraction more memory than Admiral Bishop's non-DNA head alone, which is one of the most complex rigs in-game. While this new functionality is being implemented primarily for its efficiency gains, it can also be used internally for facial blending too. During testing, the team also found that combining portions of Gary Oldman, Mark Hamill, and John Rhys-Davies' face into one head produced interesting results. The UI guys focused on finalising the visual style for 2 important elements of the player's kit: a new visor, so the heads-up display sort of thing that you see within your helmet, and a new style of the mobiGlass, particularly the local area map. When the concepts are complete, they will make functional versions in-game. But the idea of having a local area map on the mobiGlass, which potentially says that we're going to start to see 3D maps or maps in stations, maps on the ground, is very, very welcome addition to the game. Let's move on to environments and scenes in-game as well. Several scenes were made ready with EVA gameplay being a focus for some. They're prototyping new ideas to make traversing open space in EVA more fun. Archon Station, that massive mining station, got a huge amount of work done this month. There's a lot of attention going into the engineering sections of the station and the arms of the station. Players will travel through several different archetypes on the station, with each one having its own distinct feel. The comms array made progress too. The hero station is in its final development stages, with smaller variants coming soon. There are new asteroid sets that have reached their phase 2 to complement the asteroid set. A kit of infrastructure parts left behind by previous operations and settlements are also in development, alongside being visually interesting. The kit gives the flight design team interesting shapes and space to work with. Several new developments to lighting tech meant certain areas received improvements too. Gas clouds are progressing well apparently, with new tech and lighting tools being made specifically for them. There are also several improvements to gas clouds, including softer, blockier shadows to make them appear more natural. They've also continued on a range of scenes recently, including building several for Chapter 5 that was captured earlier this year. They also continued to prototype how players interrupt scenes from different angles. Several prop setups were finalised, including cups, utensils, datapads, mops and buckets. Existing scenes were checked to make sure the new props worked as intended. They are currently making sure they work seamlessly with the new console usable behaviours. They evolved the temperature status system that allows clothing to have insulating properties, including hypothermia and concussion statuses. Obviously, this is incredibly important for environmental effects in the game. We're going to start to see things like this with Microtech. It's going to be very cold outside on Microtech. Also, they've been adding environment-based procedural character overlays. For example, a character in a windy environment will lean depending on the direction and the strength of wind, and they may also try to cover their face. QA have been testing subsumption, cinematic cutscenes, and player NPC interactions. This also included testing many wild lines that are in the game. They are also working on theming for several different groups and organisations featured in the story, so they can receive a proper branding pass. Now, there is a lot of new information I suspect we will get at CitizenCon for Squadron 42 Episode 1. It is the most secretive of Star Citizen's features and projects and things that they are working on. They do not show much of Squadron 42. So in the sort of like updates that we get to see a roadmap of completion of basic features and sort of like they need to complete scene 13 and chapter 2 and all this sort of stuff, but we don't really get much of a breakdown of exactly what's going to be in game, and obviously that's because they don't want spoilers and stuff, but we should see a lot coming out of Star Citizen's CitizenCon on the 23rd of November this year, and I would suspect that we may well see a release date for Squadron 42 by the end of CitizenCon. They might go, and we now are going to release it at the end of 2020. That would be my hope, but it's obviously quite possible that it might be early 2021 or something like that. So bear that in mind. I'm hoping that we see a Squadron 42 release date announced at CitizenCon, but I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think that a Squadron 42 2020 release date is possible, or do you think that's wildly optimistic? Do you think we're going to see a lot of Squadron 42 stuff at CitizenCon, or do you think it's going to be more persistent universe and Star Citizen sort of like new systems and potentially jump points in the Carrack and exploration heavy? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For November it's for a Cutlass Black game package and CitizenCon 2948, last year's goodie pack. All you need to do for a chance of winning is comment on any of my videos made during November 2019. More details below. A quick bit of shilling as well. Shadow provide remote access to high-spec gaming PCs as a subscription service, so you don't need to maintain your own gaming PC. You can leverage the power of your internet to turn your phone, tablet, laptop, or home PC into a monster. They are taking pre-orders for their new hardware configurations, scaling for 4K gaming, up to 32 gigs of RAM, and a GeForce Titan RTX, which I am very much looking forward to playing Star Citizen on. Links below, and use the code BoredGamer to get a discount. I also use NordVPN, which I've decided to continue to support, as they appear to have one of the best VPN services currently available at an affordable price. If you're looking for a VPN, consider them. Links below. Thank you so much for watching my video to the end. If you would like to share my video, comment, subscribe, like, all that sort of jazz, ring the bell, that all helps content creators. Also, if you want to further support the channel even more, there's Patreon, there's direct donation, there's the YouTube join button as well, which gives you access to some more sort of like exclusive content from me. Thank you very much for watching. You take care, and I'll see you in the verse.